Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Thorns Hallman Scott selections here for Sunday, October 2nd. Before getting today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had an awful day. Really, no other way around it. Had four college football plays, and we lost all four of them. So we went 0-4 for -4 units. We had one really bad beat to start the day in the college football show, and then it all went downhill from there. So starting off with the bad beat, we had Michigan team total under 26.5 at -106 on FanDuel. Michigan had 20 with about a minute and 20 to go. If they get one first down on 3rd and 2, the game's over. The one thing we can't have happen is a touchdown, and Corum broke it and scored a touchdown. So Michigan went over by half a point on a breakaway touchdown at the end. Pretty unfortunate. And then you had the other plays, which was the over in the Kent State game. We had the over 65 at -110 on WinBet. I can't call that a bad beat because the game did go to overtime, so we had no chance of really cashing it until overtime. But Kent State scored a touchdown. Ohio at 1st and goal at the 5. If they score a touchdown to tie the game, then a field goal gives us a push in double overtime or a touchdown wins it. Instead, Ohio went 4 and out from the 5-yard line and didn't score. Then we had West Virginia plus 10.5 at -130 on DraftKings against Texas. Unfortunately for us, Worthy played for Texas and he caught a touchdown immediately. And West Virginia fell behind by a lot early, lost by 18. And then we had our play of the day video yesterday with Pittsburgh running back Abanaconda over 100.5 rushing yards. And I'm not saying he would have gotten there, but the one worse thing that could have happened in a player prop happened. He got hurt. I believe it was in the first half. He ended up having his arm in a sling. So he either injured his shoulder, his collarbone, or something. But either way, the guy got hurt, and the backup running back came in and had 85 rushing yards. So if he stayed healthy, he might have gone over. He got hurt, though. So several different ways to lose bets, but we ended up going 0-4. Really just an awful day. I look for a bounce back winning day here on Sunday. And for today's play of the day, going to pivot and talk about some baseball. We'll get a matchup between the Blue Jays and the Red Sox taking place at around 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for this matchup, we'll look Toronto -1.5 at +115 on DraftKings. Time recording of 2:20 a.m. Eastern Time. Covered reasons why I like the Blue Jays -1.5 in this matchup. First reason, going through the head-to-head, it has been absolute domination by Toronto. The Blue Jays have won 15 of the first 18 meetings with the Red Sox this season. And if you want to look at the actual motivation, Toronto's still playing for something, while Boston is not. Toronto is still competing for seeding with the wild card standings. But the Blue Jays have really dominated the first two games of this series, and it has looked like Toronto's cared about these games, and Boston just wants the season to end already. Because Toronto has won each of the first two games in this series by at least 9 runs. To make matters worse, Boston hasn't scored yet. They've been outscored 19-0 in the first two games of this series. I don't think that Toronto's randomly going to take their foot off the gas. I don't think that Boston's going to randomly wake up for game 3. I think Toronto sees a team that's dead in front of them, and they're going to try to capitalize with the seeding and try to win this game handily. But to go through the pitching matchup, you have Waka pitching for Boston. Now, I know he has been amazing all season long. However, he has struggled a bit in his last, basically, start and a half. Last two starts in 9 and 1/3 innings pitched, 14 hits allowed, 8.68 ERA. He got shelled by Baltimore in his last time out. But the fact that Waka has really overachieved for the entire season and is now starting to show signs of decline, I think is extremely concerning for Boston. And I think Toronto will capitalize. Meanwhile, you have Gausman, who's pitching for Toronto. In addition to being good his last two times out, he's faced Boston 5 times this season, and he's been great. He's 3-0, 31 innings pitched, 2.32 ERA. So in addition to good form, he's been very good against Boston, pretty much every start he's had against them. And I think he should pitch well against an offense that scored no runs in the first two games of the series. Now, to go through the actual home road splits, Toronto, good at home. Boston, bad on the road. Toronto is a 46-34 straight up at home, while the Red Sox are 35-45 straight up on the road. But Boston used to actually be decent on the road for a decent amount of the season. And then recently, for whatever reason, they've really struggled on the highway. The Red Sox are 8-20 straight up in their last 28 road games. So to go through everything once again, Toronto has dominated the head-to-head. They're still competing for something while Boston is not. They've won the first two games in this series 19-0. They have a starting pitcher in better form, and Toronto's good at home, while the Red Sox have really fallen apart on the road lately. I think Toronto win this game handily, but plus 115, I think, is a very nice price to fade a team that's basically quit already on the season, especially this series. So I'm going to take it, and I'm going to take Toronto to win this game rather convincingly. So play that once again here for Sunday, October 2nd, is going to be on the Blue Jays -1.5 runs at plus 115 on DraftKings. Bye, everyone.